a huge 144Hz 12.3-inch OLED display, the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 chipset, and an 8-speaker audio system with IMAX enhanced high-res audio, the Honor MagicPad 2 is a great tablet for both work and media, and today we're going to take a look at what this thing can do. So from the minute you pick the MagicPad 2 up, you can feel it's quite large, but thankfully it's also quite slim, coming in at just 5.8mm, and overall it does feel strong and sturdy for a tablet of this size, with no flex of the body or the display. You can see we've got fairly slim, even bezels all round, and the display itself is a 12.3-inch OLED. It's a 144Hz display with a resolution of 3000 by 1920, and it's got a peak brightness of 1600 nits and then 4320Hz PWM dimming. Now the display is fast, smooth and responsive as you can see, and overall it's just a pleasure to use whether it's browsing, media or gaming. Now for those of you that suffer with eye fatigue, they've also introduced Eye Comfort Display with AID focus, and this is going to make things much easier on the eye, but personally I just don't struggle with screens, so I can't comment on its effectiveness. On the body of the MagicPad 2, we've also got the silver metal frame, and then over on the rear you can see I've got the white model, but it's also available in sky blue or starry black. And we've then got the circular camera module in the top left corner, and this houses a 13-megapixel camera along with an LED flash, and then there's also a 9-megapixel selfie camera on the front bezel, but we'll go more into the camera performance shortly. Now powering the device is the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, which is important not to confuse with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 as it's a cheaper, less performing chipset, but it's still plenty for the day-to-day tasks and even for productivity and gaming. Now for those of you concerned with synthetic benchmarks, I ran it through Geekbench 6, and we get a single core score of 2004 and then a multi-core score of 5198. And to put that into perspective, the Magic V3, which I posted a review of yesterday, that uses the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, that scores 2240 for single core and then 5405 for multi, so it's a little bit slower, but not too much. Now when it comes to mobile gaming on this thing, I've been playing Asphalt and Call of Duty Mobile, and both of the games have just run smooth and perfectly, and the large 144Hz display is just a pleasure to game on, and it's actually one of the most fun mobile gaming experiences that I've had. Now again, for those of you concerned with the synthetic benchmarks, I ran it through 3D Mark's Wildlife Extreme Test, and it scores 3175 with an average frame rate of 19 frames a second. Now with the MagicPad 2, we also get 12GB of RAM and 256GB storage, so not only can it handle pretty much anything you throw at it, there's also plenty of space to store your apps as well as your files. Now when it comes to photography, of course, this is a tablet, so photography isn't the main focus of the device, but to be fair, I was pleasantly surprised. On the rear is a 13-megapixel camera with an aperture of f2, and you can see we get some good photographs from the tablet. These were all shot with just point and shoot without any manual adjustments at all, and they've all come out fine. Now I would say exposure-wise, they're a little bit darker than I would have liked and not representative of the actual lighting, but of course you can just adjust that when taking or adjust it in post. Now overall though, we've got some nice colours with plenty of detail. Now the one thing I would also say is that when you're shooting, you can choose 1x or 2x shots. 2x just seems to be cropping it in, and I wouldn't recommend using it as you get much worse images that are less sharp and less detailed, and you'd probably be better off just taking it 1x and then cropping in post. For selfies, we get the 9-megapixel camera in the bezel with an aperture of f2.2, and again, it's not what you're going to get from the latest flagship phones, but it does a good enough job and it delivers some good quality selfies. And when it comes to videos, it's not the same story unfortunately, and the lack of good stabilization is very apparent in the videos, and especially when you're using any zoom. The zoom also introduces a lot of noise into the video, and I'd say the video is good enough if you just need to record something, but it's not going to be great if it's videos you need for posting on socials, etc. And it's also exactly the same story for videos on the selfie camera. It does a good enough job, but it's not amazing, but we'll just take a look at the video samples now. So here we have the rear camera. It's a 13-megapixel aperture of f2. So you have a look around, you can switch between 1 zoom, 2 times zoom, back to 1, back to 2. I'm not sure if you can pinch zoom. Yeah, we can pinch zoom. So that's at 10 times, but as you can see, that's not a good idea. 2.4 times, it's okay. 5.8, I mean, I can already see in the viewfinder here, it's so noisy, so I don't think you'll want to be using the zoom shots past 2. But that's 2x zoom. That's 1x zoom. We'll just walk around, and I'm just actually going to head out to the road for the stabilization test because there's not too much going on here. So now we're back out over to the road. I'm on 1x zoom. It's at 4K 30. We'll just test the stabilization. So me jogging along. And we'll slow down. And we'll just do a slow pan. So that's the quality you're going to get from the rear camera. So this is a video quality from the selfie camera, 4K, 30 frames a second. You can only have 30 on this, it doesn't go up to 60. This is the quality you can expect. So if we just do a slow pan. There we go, and I'll just do a jog to test the stabilization, but I don't think you're going to be running with a tablet using the selfie camera. So that's the quality you can expect from the selfie camera. Now where the tablet really shines though is media, and the speaker system is very good for a tablet. It goes loud and it also sounds great while doing so, which makes it a very enjoyable experience to watch movies, TV shows or even socials without the need for headphones. Now the great sound on top of the beautiful full screen display makes this an easy recommendation for anyone buying a tablet for media, so we'll just take a look at the media samples now.
Talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
Now of course, it's also great for productivity. With such a large display, it's easy to work on for note-taking, organizing, and pretty much anything. We also get the Honor Magic Pencil 3 to make things even easier. Now I'm going to have to be honest here, I haven't had too much time with the Magic Pencil 3, simply because it didn't work for me straight away. For whatever reason, it just wouldn't connect and it wouldn't work with the tablet, and then right by the end of going through my testing, it finally popped up on the screen saying would I like to connect the pencil. I just pressed yes, it connected straight away, and it's worked fine ever since. But when using the pencil, it works just as well as with your fingers and it glides smoothly across the display. I haven't been able to find any faults with it since it started working, and there's no problem with mistouches. Now even if you touch the display with your hand while writing, it still works well and continues to write perfectly. We also get the MagicPad 2 Bluetooth keyboard, and this is not only great for getting some work done and typing, but it's also great for watching media as well as protecting the tablet. The keyboard has this folding cover which automatically turns the tablet off when you close it, and it then turns it on again when you open it, but it also works as a stand to hold the tablet at the perfect angle for typing or watching media. Now I've used this a lot while going through some emails, and while it's a little bit smaller than the keyboards I'm used to, the buttons do feel nice and responsive and I can still type nice and quickly on it, so overall it's a great portable solution for typing. Now powering the tablet is a 10,050 mAh battery with support for 66 watt wired charging, and we also get dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.1 and USB 2, so it's not got the latest things like Wi-Fi 7 and NFC, but it still has the connectivity we need. Now on the software side, it's running macOS 8.0.1, and this is based on Android 14. And as with many other phones out there, it's getting plenty of AI features to improve your day-to-day life and just make things that little bit easier. But to be honest, there's not really anything new. Now we've got the Magic Portal, which debuted on the Magic 6 Pro, and this allows you to take text or images and drag them into other apps. So for instance, you might want to save it as a note, put it straight into Gmail to send to someone else, or if someone sent you something like an address, you can drag it straight into Google Maps for directions. For images, you can drag stuff into Notes, Gmails, and even search for things on eBay using the image, and this has actually got a lot more app support in recent months. And overall, they're good features, and I'm sure it's something that Honor will continue to work on in the future, and I'm excited to see what future updates deliver. Now we've also got AI features thanks to Google Cloud, and it's got things like Photo Unblur and Magic Eraser, and I'm sure most of you have seen these by now, and you just highlight what you want to remove from a photo, and it's going to use generative AI to fill that. We've also got improvements to Honor's notes with things like AI beautification just to neat up your handwriting a little bit, and there's also plenty of brushes and tools to choose from when using the pen. Now general use of the OS is good though, and it's what you'd expect from an Android phone. macOS is continually improving, and I like the default layout which gives you plenty of apps on the main page as well as some weather, but if you don't like that, you can of course customize it exactly how you want. Now in terms of bloatware, there's not too much on it by default, and it's only really booking.com that I had to go in and delete. And of course, you're free to delete most of the pre-installed apps, and it's only system apps that you can't delete. Now we've got the taskbar at the bottom, which is also very useful for accessing your shortcuts, and then there's this second taskbar to the right with 3 icons, and this just shows you your 3 most recently opened apps, and it also makes it easier if you're going back and forth between a couple of different apps. For those of you that haven't used macOS, you also get plenty of customization in the settings menu for things like your home screen, lock screen, fonts, icons, and your always on display. And there's even a theme section to help you change everything quickly. You've got all of the usual settings to change from, and we now get Honor's Magic Capsule, and this is pretty much the same as Apple's Dynamic Island, and it just delivers app functionality in this little island at the top so you don't have to open the app. So when you're using it for things like the alarm, you can snooze or cancel the alarm without opening the alarm app. Now the MagicPad 2 is also great for multitasking, and we can have floating windows on top of other apps, and I find this very useful for copying information or keeping my emails open while browsing media. Honor have also promised 4 years of OS updates along with 5 years of security updates to help the longevity of the tablet. While it's not quite the 7 years that Samsung are offering, it's a good start and Honor are on the right track. Now of course, the MagicPad 2 has now been released, and as I said, it's a great tablet for watching media and doing some work or productivity, and maybe even some gaming. And the cameras are okay, but they're not the best. What is really good though is the launch price, and I've placed a link for the MagicPad 2 down in the description below, so you can go ahead and check that out now. And if you use the voucher code APD2EB50, you're also going to get it for just $449.99 delivered, and you also get free gifts which include the Magic Pencil 3, the MagicPad 2 Smart Keyboard, as well as the 66-watt supercharger, and you can even take it out on 24-month interest-free credit if you need it. And when it comes to the unboxing, if we open it up, you can see we first get the MagicPad 2 in its protective film. Underneath that, we've got the USB-C cable for charging, and then I've got the 66-watt supercharger. Now hopefully I've covered everything in today's video for you guys, but if there's anything I've missed or you've got any questions at all, then just ask them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech.